America's second most populated and second largest state is always the first to remind you that it was once an independent nation, the Republic of Texas. Unlike California's 3-week, almost accidental flirt with independence and hideous flag, the Republic of Texas was a real country with its own presidents and laws and currency for a decade from 1836 until 1846 when it joined the Union to become the 28th state, thankfully evening out the number of stars. This happy marriage led pretty much immediately to the Mexican-American War over the question of how big Texas was. America, as the victor, got to decide the answer. Very big. While Texas gave up its complete independence to join the Union, it didn't give up its independent streak, and filed for divorce, along with several other states, a scant 15 years later. This domestic dispute was settled not with flowers, but with force, something that many are still grumbly about today. But history aside, in modern times, could Texas still be a real country? In other words, could Texas succeed if it secedes? In terms of population, an independent Texas would be the world's 46th largest country with 26 million citizens. And those citizens would make Texas the 13th largest economy. So the new Texas Republic would be comparable to Australia, except in the size department. But what about the federal money that goes to Texas? Those interstate highways don't build themselves, you know. For a majority of states, independence would be a financial problem. Mississippi, for example, gets $2 from Washington for every $1 it sends in taxes. So an independent Magnolia Republic would be bankrupt almost instantly. But not Texas, which gives more money to the federal government in taxes than it gets back. There's no reason why an independent Texas couldn't keep those highways paved and give its citizens a small, happy Texapendence Day tax cut. So from a financial perspective, the new Texas Republic gets a check. Now the question is, can Texas legally secede? And the answer is no, not at all. Despite popular belief, even by politicians who should know better, the Texas Constitution does not include a get-out-of-the-union-free clause, no matter how much Texans or citizens of other states wish that it did. However, the Texas Constitution does have a weird clause that allows it to divide itself into 5 states without the approval of Congress. So Texas could, at any moment, explode into states perhaps named North Texas, South Texas, East Texas, West Texas, and Austin, which would quintuple its power in the Senate, but not necessarily help it gain independence, because there's no legal process for a state to exit the Union. Though the Constitution is mute on the issue, secession has come before the Supreme Court, and, shockingly, the Supreme Court of the United States decided that states can't leave the United States. But the legal question is weirdly sort of moot. After all, the first Texas Republic didn't pop into existence out of nowhere. Texas was originally a state of Mexico, which didn't allow Texas to leave, but leave Texas did anyway, though under less than harmonious circumstances. While it's hard to imagine a war between the new Texas Republic and the United States, it isn't hard to imagine who would win that fight. Texas does have its own military, but seriously, nobody beats America in the war business. So the only way Texas is leaving is if it can convince the United States to change its laws to let it leave, which only has a chance of being discussed seriously if a majority of Texans want independence, which isn't remotely the case. So while a new Texas Republic is interesting to think about, particularly for some non-Texans, as of now it's a long way from becoming reality.
Greetings. This is Elder Blacklight. Allah 24/7. I'm spotlighting Texas to let you know that I'm a deeper thinker than the average. You know, Texas they still want to separate from the Union. They still want to be an independent state. There are plans for them to leave the state, leave the Union. They're sitting on a whole lot of gold, a whole lot of resources. The government with Donald Trump in there, they are in favor. Donald Trump, I think he double-crossed Texas, but Texas was very instrumental in putting Donald Trump with Alex Jones uh, promoting Donald Trump for president. And but I think Trump kind of double-crossed Alex Jones. But we put a spotlight on Texas to show you that they're fighting for their separate state. But they took it from the Mexicans. This is what this whole thing on the border is all about. You got California and Texas who conquered the Mexicans and took their land. And the black man ain't got nothing to do with it. Except one thing. We own the whole planet. And gradually, inch by inch, we're letting the enemy take over the whole planet. So this generation, I said, was lost because they don't bother to study the weakness of the United States. What is the weakness? You know, what is the Achilles heel? What is the soft spot that we could penetrate? See? And this is why I was saying that General Sarasuti said he's not a general, man. He's not a war strategist. You know, y'all don't know what a war strategist is. Y'all think that the United States is like Goliath. But you see what happened to Goliath? David, with a slingshot and a smooth rock, a smooth stone, cut off the head. When you cut off that head, the body dies. So what can we do as a people? First of all, we got to stop thinking deeper than what we think. And we got to get back our will. And once we get back our will collectively, you know, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, the size of the fight in the dog. So, you know, I'm the Supreme Council of the Elders. You can't read your way into freedom, even though it's necessary to get the right proper knowledge so you can outthink your opponent. You can't pray your way. See, because every thought is a prayer. Every thought you think is a prayer. And when you think it over and over again, it's a confirmation. A self-propelling confirmation to propel you into the situation that you want to surround yourself with. But every act has a consequence, and you want a favorable consequence. See, right now, when I say you got to be more aggressive. It ain't like that we starting this. We didn't start it. We are prisoners of war. So we gotta defend ourselves. But we gotta be more aggressive in defending ourselves. And we can't keep going in circles and having a groundhog day over and over again, because King's strategy didn't work. The only strategy that worked, that was prosperous behind enemy lines, was that of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So don't let no one talk you away from that. And don't let the acts of Farrakhan discourage you or turn you away from the genius and the strategy and the blueprint of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So this is what we're going to be dealing with. This is Allah 24/7. Welcome to the God Zone. And you better listen to me quick, because you never know what you might get. Got the kind of flavor that will save you. The kind of knowledge you won't get in college. From the land of Nod to the kingdom of God. You rise and shine. It's that time, black man.